Today I want to talk to you about something amazing that actually changed my life in a deep way. It was something that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said about the reason why we don't appreciate devotees and the reason why we may be critical of devotees. And it's not because they're doing something wrong. It's something about us that creates that problem. And I think this is life transforming. At least it transformed me in many ways. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about this. This is really, you're going to like this. It's quite amazing, actually. Often when we criticize, it's very clear why we're criticizing. It's because a devotee did something wrong. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur looked at it in a different way. But sometimes we're in a situation where we're looking at a devotee and it's really difficult to appreciate them because they're doing things that are very disturbing or very wrong. We say, how can they do that? They're devotees. Devotees shouldn't do that. And he said that because I don't find within myself a drop of humility, I am unable to appreciate the lotus feet of the devotees. Now, why is this significant? Because he's not putting the blame or the problem on what the devotee did. He's putting the blame on the fact that he doesn't have humility. And that's why he's unable to appreciate, and that's why he's only seeing what's wrong. So when we see what's wrong with someone, we may think, well, I'm seeing what's wrong because there is something wrong. And I don't deny that. I don't want to say you didn't see something wrong. But I would want to offer this perspective. If we're seeing something wrong, we may want to ask ourselves, why am I seeing something wrong? And what does that focus on seeing something wrong have to say about me? Well, one thing it says about me is I must have some need, at least in some cases, rather than see what's good, to see what's wrong. And if that's where I'm going in my mind or consciousness, then we go back to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's quote, where he's saying, I'm unable to appreciate because I don't have humility. So he makes this correlation. More humility, more appreciation. Less humility, less appreciation. Less humility, more criticism. More appreciation, less criticism. This is very, very important for us to realize, because when we are seeing the bad in others, or extremely focused on the bad, or getting obsessed with the bad, getting discouraged with the bad, complaining always about it in such a way that it's absorbing our minds in the bad of the devotee rather than in Krishna, that's a problem. And that's, according to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, stemming from our own lack of humility. Now, that's something hard to admit, isn't it? It's much easier to say, no, the problem is this devotee is like this. It's harder to say, because I lack humility. But I think we need to reflect on that. I think we need to look more at ourselves when we're seeing the negative, when we're seeing the faults, when we're complaining, at least overly complaining. Now, I'm not saying things don't go wrong, and I'm not saying we sometimes should not complain because situations need to be corrected. There's no question about that. But sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes it's coming from a personal defect. So again, I just want to quote that. Meditate on this. The reason I'm unable to appreciate the lotus feet of the devotees is because I don't find a drop of humility in my heart. And what that means is, the more humility I find, which means the lower I place myself, the more good I will see in others. The higher I place myself, the more bad I will see in others. And you could try to argue your way around it, but this devotee did this and that. Okay, he did this and that. But if your general perception is always bad, 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 the defect isn't us. Why do I need to see that? Why do I need to dwell on it? These are the kind of questions we should ask ourselves, and these kinds of questions can really help us. Hare Krishna.